Food Travelers. I'm Micah.
And I'm Simon. This is our year-end video, and we wanted to recap and kind of highlight kind of what we went through the entire, not full year, because I believe we ended up starting around August, so for the last 4 months or so of 2021, and essentially our start of our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I thought it was a great idea to start a recap for our year or our YouTube channel, and also highlight all our trips that we went on and some of the places we went to eat.
Yeah, things that we kind of liked and disliked, and kind of, the experiences that we went through this first quarter year. And as you can see, we're actually in the map, and as you've heard from our previous episodes, we're up from the Northwest and Seattle specifically. We're up in this corner of the continental U.S., and we kind of, what I was happy with is we actually ended up traveling kind of in each section of the country, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it was great that we went to different parts of the country. Also visiting like some of the kind of touristy parts of Washington State itself. I thought that was pretty nice. Just try a lot of these places we don't normally go to, so it was fun to go to those places like Whidbey Island, Leavenworth, and also Bellingham.
Yeah, I agree, Micah. It's one of those things where you're so close to home that you don't even try to go out to try certain things, and you don't realize what's in your backyard. And one of the trips that I remember the most was Whidbey Island, because the seared duck that we had over there was actually one of my favorites that I've had. And just the beauty of the dish itself, and all the flavors and deliciousness of this restaurant that we kind of found right on our backyard. It was a great find.
Yeah, I agree. I've been to Whidbey Island many times, and I've never been to that restaurant, nor have I ever found such a great dish. It's kind of like a hole-in-the-wall type of restaurant. You just don't really know about it, at least for a lot of my friends. We don't really know about it, and I thought that was like the greatest find in that area.
Well, I wouldn't quite call it a hole in the wall, but it's very unassuming, and if you watch our Whidbey Island video, you'll see that the restaurant itself is located in kind of an old house, so it's not your typical restaurant front strip mall or commercial area, so it's not that easy to tell. So you kind of walk up and it looks like a house, and then you go in, but that place is definitely popular. There were so many people there eating and enjoying so many great food, and I was happy to be one of those people during the summer.
Was very happy with that restaurant. I would definitely go back in the future.
Yeah, and then after that we were able to go through a few places, and we did end up going to California and Nevada. We also hit up Texas and Florida, so we were happy to, at least in my opinion, cover kind of the entire country. Of course, if we could go to more places, that would have been awesome, but we kind of had to pick and choose with the kind of difficulties with how things are currently in the world, and we just kind of went to places where we felt like we can kind of get out and not have to worry too much about booking certain things and then worrying about them getting canceled or changed, and so something that we could predict mostly. So that's why we chose our locations the way we did.
Yeah, I was glad with the locations that we went to. Everywhere that we went to with a reservation did not get canceled. I was really happy about that. And Houston, Texas was a new location for myself. I've actually never been to Texas, and Houston was the first spot that we went to. I was really excited for that. I've heard so much about the Texas barbecue and all the goodness of Texas have to offer, and
yeah, I agree. It's definitely one of the spots that stood out for me. The barbecue is always great. I've been to Texas a few times, but not Houston itself. And so it was great to actually be able to try Houston barbecue. And definitely it was something that kind of gave me a nice, great memory. That's something that will stick for a while, because that beef barbecue ribs from Pinkerton is something that definitely stood out. I really, really enjoyed that. And also the beef brisket from Truth Barbecue, also something that definitely was going to be something that's going to stick in my head for pretty much the rest of my life.
Yeah, that Pinkerton barbecue friendliness of the staff really stood out to me. Just how friendly everybody who goes to these barbecue restaurants are. It's a whole different level, a whole different experience. Even the people who are going to the restaurants were really friendly and were really talkative while we were all in line waiting to get in. I really enjoyed that part. It was really welcoming.
So Micah, what was actually your favorite from the year? Was it Houston, or did you have another place that you thought was kind of your favorite spot that we went to this year?
Oh, that's really hard to say. Favorite. I think every single spot had a unique favorite part. I really liked the weather when we went to California, but in terms of favorite weather or favorite restaurant, which one do you mean?
Just an overall, anything kind of was more than others. Even though you liked a whole bunch, maybe there's one that just kind of stuck, just that had a bit more that kind of put it in the forefront.
Oh, that's hard to say.
Yeah, I know, it's a really hard question. Even if you asked me that back, I don't know what I would answer either.
Yeah, I really don't know how to answer that. I can't say I have a favorite. I mean, every single spot had its uniqueness. We tried so many different cuisines from different type of restaurants within every single spot. In terms of food, I really enjoyed LA. It matched everything that we normally get and more. Las Vegas was always a great choice. Vegas, I really don't think you can go wrong with that. I guess I would say Vegas. We go there so often. It's kind of like a place that you just get away just for food. And I enjoyed going back to Disney World again. I thought that part was really fun. But yeah, I think in terms of food, Vegas would be the spot for me. How about you?
Well, like you said, it's a hard question. And I do. For me, I'm not limited in terms of a lot of the foods I try. From LA, one of the things that kind of stuck out the most was probably the ramen that we had in our episode. If you see it, the LA Koreatown, you'll kind of see that we went to this ramen shop, and it was actually one of the best ramens I've had. For me, just the flavors and the quality and what it was, it just felt like it went that extra mile that made ramen not just ramen, since it's so common now, and it's not like how it used to be where you would be difficult to find a really good ramen spot. But this one kind of something wasn't what I expected, and this was definitely a hole in the wall that you'd kind of come to this strip mall area and you wouldn't even know how great the food is. And that actually tends to happen quite often, but in this case we went there and I wasn't expecting too much, and we went in and there's actually two items that I just really loved, and it was that ramen itself, and they also had a cinnamon ginger beer that I thought would combination wise wouldn't go too well, but then when I drank it I just loved it. And so that was something that stuck out a lot for me during the year. And it's one of those things where that's what makes trying different restaurants and just going around, that makes it just such a great thing to do, because you just never know if you base things on either what people say or just how it looks like, especially in front of a restaurant. You'll miss something that you might not get anywhere else.
Yeah, and back to LA, I mean, the restaurant you mentioned is called Hanchik. Kind of hidden, but it is a pretty hit restaurant. I believe it's getting more and more popular by the day. They would do in that Korean seafood barbecue. That was really good. That was really unique. That was new for me. I haven't had any Korean seafood barbecue in this area, especially in the US. I really wish more states would have that type of offering. Unfortunately, so far only in LA.
Yeah, that's unfortunate too. If anybody is a fan of watching any dramas or anything from South Korea, that they do go to these seafood barbecues quite a bit. And so when I was introduced to it a long time ago, not too long, but a long time ago before we went on this trip to try it again, I was really happy to actually have that experience and to see how great fresh seafood barbecue right on the spot is. So that was also one of my favorite places to go to, and so I was happy to introduce Mike to there because it was such a great thing to experience and go through, and such a different way to eat where you're outside enjoying, in this case during the summer, enjoying the outdoors, and you're eating and you're with friends, and it's a great atmosphere.
I think with LA's weather, there's really no bad time to go eat outside for a Korean barbecue. You got the hot charcoal and everything. It could be super hot in the summertime, but I mean, usually when you go, it's like dinner time, right? So it's not going to be that hot.
So was there anything else that's kind of stuck out for you for the year that you can think of? Anything from Orlando? And we discussed a little bit about Nevada and Las Vegas, which, I'm excited. It is a place that we go there quite a bit, and I know we do plan on going there again, and it probably won't be the last time we go. We'll have to probably go a few times because there's just so much that they offer in Las Vegas that you just cannot try everything, even though you want to. And that's something I really want to do, is try everything. But you have to take your time, and that's what we'll do, is take our time and go seek out all those different foods and restaurants that keep popping up. And hopefully we'll find some really, really great gems out there. I'll try some delicious food.
I think another place I have to mention is BBJ in Santa Barbara. It's an Indian cuisine. It's not something I tend to go to, as mentioned in that episode. They have that crispy cauliflower. That was just something special to me. It's not something I would normally order, as I tend to eat more meaty type of dishes. That was something special for sure.
I agree. I am by no means a vegan, as you can see from our episodes, and especially our Houston barbecue episodes, but I can see how eating the crispy cauliflower it kind of changed my opinion in terms of how non-meat foods can taste, because when I ate it, I just thought, oh, fried chicken. It was just so delicious, even though it was crispy cauliflower. In my mind, it still tasted like really good fried chicken. It's definitely one of those things where it kind of convinced me that you can have these really great vegetables essentially that taste really, really good. Not that I didn't think it could before, but experiencing it versus thinking about experiencing it is quite different. And so now, having experienced it, I do see how great vegan food can be.
So are you saying you want to do a full vegan episode, Simon?
Well, we'll have to see about that. I don't know quite yet, but there's definitely a possibilities, because with what we experienced over at BBJ's, if they're great like that, I'm pretty sure there are places out there that are great like that it wouldn't be a bad episode to try just vegan food.
I mean, that sounds kind of interesting, to just do even a tasting menu from a fine dining restaurant just for vegetarian option. I think another spot I want to point out is in Orlando, when we went to the Animal Kingdom. It was also during the 50th anniversary for Disney World. So we had a reservation for Tiffin's restaurant, and my favorite thing from there was the 50th anniversary veal dish, and also that 50th anniversary dessert.
Yeah, those are done really well. I didn't have the veal, of course, because you had it, but we did have the 50th anniversary dessert, and that was very, very good. It was one of those things where so many people, as you go to Disney, you kind of think on theme park foods, and there are videos and other things out there about different cuisines that Disney does offer, but if you actually don't try them, you don't see how good Disney food can actually be.
And also to mention, at these sit down restaurants, they have a really, really great service too. It's like anything you find from or expect from a Disney place, you have a great experience at one of these restaurants as well.
I can agree with that, but at least in our case, if you see our Orlando episodes, you'll see that we didn't have the best of service at one of the restaurants, and I don't want to call it out, but we ended up having to wait, even though we made reservations, and then we waited a little bit longer, and kind of nobody really watched over us as we were, dining. I know there was a time where we wanted some more water, but there was nobody there. We had to wait a while, and so it was a lot of waiting. But in Tiffin's case, which I will point out, we really loved this restaurant. It's definitely a place I would like to go again if I'm in the Animal Kingdom, because the food that they have is just spectacular, and the service itself matches that spectacularness. So, why wouldn't you want to treat yourself to something really good?
I agree. I now that you mentioned it, I do remember that restaurant that you mentioned with the bad experience. We're not gonna mention it. You can see it in our episodes. But yeah, Tiffin's, that restaurant, definitely highlight. Definitely on my recommendation list. Another restaurant I really, really wanted to try here was it's called a Victoria Albert's. You remember that one, Simon?
Yeah, I do remember that one. It's one of the, not first times I've been to Orlando, but one of the earlier times I've been into Walt Disney World that we went on a trip to, and that place was great. My memories are only of happy ones of that restaurant, and especially the service. They are just spot on, probably one of the best that I've been to.
Yeah, and all the Michelin stars that restaurants I've been to, 2-star, 3-star ones. Victoria Albert's is up there with them. I mean, it's not a Michelin rated restaurant, but it is a really highly rated restaurant.
So, Mike, so what do you kind of look forward to coming up in 2022 and kind of beyond in terms of, you know, our travels, the food that we're going to try? What are things that are kind of exciting for you right now?
I think one place would definitely be more Texas barbecue. I definitely want to go back to Texas. Probably a different spot, maybe Austin or Dallas. I'm not sure yet. We'll see with our planning there. Definitely want more of that Texas barbecue and maybe try some of the other top 10, top 50 spots of Texas, and to compare with what Houston has to offer. I would also like to go more towards the east side of the states and see what other spots in the US has to offer. Maybe depending on how things are, maybe an international trip. How about you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out myself. For me, is the international part. I really, you know, we were, before everything happened, we went internationally and we were able to try different foods and stuff internationally. And it would be really nice to be able to do that again when, you know, all the travel items start to hopefully get better and smooth things out, and as the world kind of, you know, inches its way back to normal. So that's something I'm excited to do, and hopefully in 2022 is something that we can achieve, because there's so much great food out there that you know, I want to keep trying all of it as much as I can, as often as I can.
So Simon, is there a specific restaurant you want to try for next year?
Not so much anything specific. I'm always just about great food and trying to find it no matter where it is, and so we can find it somewhere. I'm there.
All right. And to support our channel, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for the YouTube algorithm. And for more photos, follow us on Instagram. See you guys on the next episode.